Hello and welcome once again to the Tuesday Night Live Show. I'm Bob McMasters, as always, your co-host, and tonight we have another exciting featured guest coming your way in just a few moments. Stick with us. This is Tuesday Night Live. Thank you to everyone either watching us live or via a replay. This is October 4th, 2022. Please give a warm welcome to my co-host, the jokester, the rambling man, Stuffer Santa, and SchoolofSantas.com, as well as Tuesday Night Live's very own Santa Spangle.
Hello, everybody, and hopefully I'll be here for the whole show this time. Bob kicked me out last time.
Hey, don't believe him because he's already said the Packers are playing at 7. He may have been about.
Man, you told on me.
All right. So I also say hello to the third member of our team, our show producer, our very own Angela Mack. She's over here working hard for us all.
I heard she's filling out the paperwork for that $1 million grant she was trying to get.
I think she may be. She's preoccupied over. Maybe that's what she's doing. All right, so what a year it's been with the best guest, and tonight's Tuesday Night Live show will be no different. This is our episode 40 of season 2, and our featured guest has made several appearances on the show. He is, in our opinion, one of the true innovators of the advancement of green screen presentation for virtual visits. Before we bring him out up the green room into the studio, let's remind everyone that the Tuesday Night Live show can be found on YouTube and or Facebook at the Tuesday Night Live Show. And for your convenience, all our shows are recorded for later viewing. Please visit, drop in, give us a comment, a like, a share, throw us a subscribe. We do appreciate you. First half of tonight's Tuesday Night Live Show is brought to you by Derek Dugan's Slay Driver Apparel.
All right. You know, that sleigh driver, here, look at here, man. Everybody's got to have a little sleigh driver in their closet.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. All right, so trivia time, Spangle. Go ahead and shoot that out there for everyone.
All right. According to Google, in 2021, the number one most popular Halloween costume was a witch named number 2, 3, 4, and 5.
That's right. Number 1 was witch. Name the other most popular. The top 5 is what we're looking for. We gave you number 1, which was a witch. Give us number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5. And this list kind of surprised me. I wasn't expecting these other 4 answers to be what they were.
Number 2 threw me.
That's true from last year. Exactly. Very good. All right, guys, go ahead and submit your answers over in the comment box, and good luck to everyone. We will reveal the answer, as always, towards the end of the show, and we'll be back on the other side of this.
The first half of tonight's Tuesday Night Live show is brought to you by Derek Dugan's Slay Driver Apparel Company. You can find Derek's store on Etsy.com/shop/SlayDriverApparel or contact Derek Dugan for all your custom apparel needs. Now back to our show with Bob Spangle and Angela. This is Tuesday Night Live.
All right. Man, as always, you guys are in for a treat tonight. I'll tell you, Bob does his homework in finding these guests. Anyhow, tonight's featured guest will be joining us from his North Pole studio in Irwin, Pennsylvania. Being of Polish descent, growing up, he had a family that embraced the Christmas traditions, who really loves his Christmas carols. Bob calls him the Green Screen King. Please welcome tonight's featured guest, Greg Swiech.
Hello, Green King. How are you, brother?
Oh, I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me again.
Oh man, we've been wanting you back. Timing was great. We got you before the end of the season. Run out on us here, and you know, as much development that you do in the field of green screen and background development that you're so well known for, I'm sure you'll have some new stuff to show us in 2023. So we'll get that behind us. And so welcome back. I guess let's go ahead and start off talking about one of the Polish traditions of waiting until the first star appears in the sky before setting down to eat on December 24th. This tradition commemorates the Star of Bethlehem, which, according to the New Testament, guided the wise men to the birthplace of Christ. Now, again, I asked in the green room, but I'm not going to murder it, so I'm going to allow you to tell us what the name of this tradition on Christmas Eve vigil supper is named.
Valia.
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 It doesn't. It's spelled Wigilia. So again, Polish is very hard. I would think probably one of the harder.
Yes.
To pronounce a lot of the words. All right. So my question to you, Greg, is why do Poles leave an empty chair at Christmas?
Well, it symbolizes that anybody that is not there right now, but maybe comes to the door or is brought by another guest is always welcome. So we always leave an empty chair for just symbolizing we're already prepared for a guest that just was not or just knocked on the door type of thing.
That's very warming. We wanted to get to know you a little bit more. We talked a lot, your first time here, we got to know a little bit about you, but we're kind of digging a little deeper this year with your traditions and things. So with dozens of traditional dishes of Polish Christmas Eve, which really depends upon the region. I know that, from region to region, it varies, but tell us some of your family's favorites.
Oh boy. Well, we always love pierogies. Either potato, sauerkraut, mushroom, halushki, cabbage and noodles. There's a lot of carbs in Polish cooking. And then from those two, we move to the main entrees, which is either a salmon or my wife always made a scalloped Newburg, which was in heavy cream sauce over rice. And then also we usually had another broiled fish, like maybe something mild like orange roughy. So then we had a fruit bowl. And then we started off with soups. I always brought the mushroom soup. I made a cream of mushroom soup. And there was a broth-based potato soup. And then also we had a vegetable. It could have been either broccoli, asparagus, Brussels sprouts, something. We also, based on the children ages, we made something maybe more friendlier for their palates. And then we had our traditional pastries afterwards. A nut roll, we called it chustel. It's basically dough with nuts layered in there, rolled up. My mom used to icing the top of them and put a little bit of more nuts on top, and that made hers extra special. That was basically almost like a coffee cake. And then my brother always baked a birthday cake, celebrating the birth of the Christ. So that was on the table, and we lit candles after we all sat down, and we sang happy birthday after my dad had a little bit of a toast.
Great tradition.
All right, now it looks like I was
just saying great traditions.
Yes.
Oh. Now it looks like I got to leave the show again to
Hello?
Hello, I lost your sound.
No, you're still here.
All right. It looks like I got to leave the show again and head down to the Polish restaurant as we're hearing all that. Hey, I want to go back to that part about leaving the empty chair. Okay.
Yeah.
I think we might have a joke here. How do you stump a Polish person? Bring two guests. Anyways, so what would you? Sorry.
Yes.
Greg, what would you say is your favorite Christmas song from your childhood, and what is your present number one as an adult Christmas performer?
Well, my favorite from childhood was Away in the Manger. That was my favorite. I was young and I could relate to that. And there was a big gap between my birth. I was the youngest. And then 7 years later, my brother Eugene was born. And so I would rock his cradle. And I always could relate to that. And then my brother Norman. I had four brothers, myself, and there was five. So my mother never had her own daughter, but she had all the daughter-in-laws. So she was very happy for that. Oh, and if you go fast forward to today, I'm a big fan of Amy Grant's music, and one of them is We Need a Silent Night. I always could relate to that, especially growing up and everything was so busy, running around doing things. So I thought that was a very good song that I could relate to.
Very nice. Well, as we stick with some of your favorites, how about what is your favorite Christmas movie?
Oh boy, there's so many. The Christmas Story I like. It tells about how Santa Claus became Santa Claus. He was an orphan and he was passed from family to family. His parents passed away. They needed to go and get medicine for the young one and take the young one to a doctor. I'm sorry. And they walked across a lake, a frozen lake, to save time, and they hit a patch of weak ice and they fell into it. So he was taken in by somebody that was very not friendly to the community, and they thought they'll never see him again. But he constantly would use his hands to make toys and deliver them to the children in the village. And then this gentleman took him under his wing, and it really became a special story. I think it's just one of my favorite, The Christmas Story.
Very nice. But anyway, we all have that moment in our career that we really like. What is your most rewarding moment as a professional Santa? Could it be during a visit or otherwise?
It's rewarding is making these scenes like I made a new one here, and just stretching my imagination and seeing what else we could do to piggyback off of some of the things that Hollywood's working on and make them very special for the children. And of course, the children, without them being on the other side of that camera and talking to them and trying to get them to react to something that they see, something I said, but most important to hear everything they're saying. So the children, without the children, it'll be a hollow experience. I kind of patterned myself after a guy named Fred Rogers. I come from Pittsburgh. I met Mr. Rogers, and I've been down to his studio, and there's it's still set up down there. But anyway, he didn't have what I had. He talked to a camera, but he didn't get to see the people on the other side of that camera. But you would never know that by the way he spoke to them or to the camera.
Very cool. That's pretty neat.
A little bit of a side note, when you mentioned Fred Rogers, I read an article recently on Fred, and it said that Coco, she was the signing gorilla that knew all the sign language, was a big fan of Fred Rogers, watched his show, and he went to visit her. And when he walked in, he normally, in the show would always, do the sweater and the shoes. And when he walked in to meet Coco, she emulated the same thing that he had done about the sweater and the shoes with him. And it was such a special moment. Pretty cool.
Very cool.
Yeah. All right,
He
and
lives.
you may wring my neck for this one, Greg, but I mentioned yesterday on the Monday show with me and Randy about your home YouTube videos from the 90s and the 2000s that your family had filmed. You as Santa Claus when you first started. Your father had that role prior for the family. You guys have a pretty large family, and how much enjoyment I got out of going over there and watching those. If anyone wants to see Greg in action back in the late 90s through the early 2000s, go over and check it out. I think it's under your brother's account.
Yeah, my sons.
Okay, your son. All right.
Yeah,
But
Jason.
fantastic. Just put in the last name and it'll pop up all the different names and you'll find it that way. But great work. Okay, moving on. I didn't mean to get sidetracked there, but I just felt that was interesting. What types of hobbies have you had outside of the Christmas community, Greg?
Oh boy, I do have hobbies. One of them is I like making cakes. I like working with LGB trains. I have it going around my back property by my pool, and and like I says, I like making cakes for people. So yeah, I do that kind of stuff, and it's just something I do enjoyable. But back to you thought put me on a spot, but I know you talked to me about that from you always try to promote the shows, and you mentioned it I think yesterday with Randy. And so I did put a little 2 or 3 minute, more like 3 to 4 minute piece of our Villias, if you don't mind, if you want me to show you that.
Yeah, you bet. You'll have to probably share it on the screen, and Angela have to.
No, I can handle that. I think I
Okay,
got that.
got it.
I got that fine. So let me just real quickly just go back here and let me just play it. Now this is my first Christmas. I was only 5 years old. This was 1961. My birthday was in November, so I was probably just 6. And I'm the little guy with the hat, the blue. That's my dad coming through the window, putting something on the tree with the bag of goodies. My other 2 brothers, again, my other next brother was not born then. And then so he would come through the window, put down the gifts. We would be awoke at midnight, and my mom was obviously wearing a dress because she knew she'll be on film. And then he goes out the window and says goodbye. I still have that original outfit. I talked about that last time we were on. Now let's move to 1985. It's still my dad with that original outfit. That's our Villia table. There was only, and my dad's coming in there. Now, one thing about Santa's, you might all relate to this. He was wearing his dad's glasses, but soon he came from a cold environment to this environment. There you are. He just can't see it. They're all fogged up. Now what? He is as blind as you can be, other than feeling some big gifts. But he has to try to. Oh, he can't see. Oh, he can't see. And that goes on for a little bit long. Oh, he still can't see. So, and there, look how thin the arms were on his coat, because he was coming out of the army, and he made it. His sister, the oldest sister, made it. Again, he's pretty blind. That's my daughter's back of her hair there. She's now on her 4th year of law school after becoming a nurse practitioner. So again,
you kind of need to move your chair.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to turn my camera off. So anyway, I'm looking at now she gives him the most, gets her gift, and then eventually she gives him a hug. But my poor dad just could not see a single thing. Sorry about that, having the camera there. All right, so that's my mother passing out the gifts. They're both no longer with us, and then all the old tinsel on the tree. And now we're going to move to finish up with Heather saying goodbye to Santa. And there was always more gifts in the other room that was brought out after he left. But I just thought we all could relate to be careful about wearing glasses in the cold environment coming into a warm environment. They will instantly fog up on you. We're just trying to disguise them just a little bit better. Heather was always the kind of person like that, pass out things, hand things out. Now he finally took off the glasses. He just gave up on them. And then so he didn't have a designer beard at that time. It was just something that we bought at the best store we could find. We didn't move into a designer beard until later on when we met Heather from Florence. Kentucky. I'm sorry this is going on so long. I thought it was a little bit shorter, but it should go to one more year. I just want to give you how we grew as a family. Heather says goodbye to him here. And I know you guys didn't come here to watch home movies, but I can relate to it when I used to do some home visits about those glasses. So I think he had some side pockets for any kind of gifts. I still have that bag. It's made by him, and my sister-in-law put SC on the front. But I had to make her a baby Jesus for her out of ceramics for her Christmas table. Now this is my first portrayal, one of my first, and then this is my custom-made suit that I had made. And again, the same beard, that's the best we could find at that time. My dad is in the picture, and they're trying to keep him under control, and I start passing out the gifts here. So that was 2003. Now we move into, I want to show you a table in 1993. You do remember that original table. So that's our tree. Now we're going to go downstairs, and my dad actually made the table by hand and stored it and then brought it out for the Christmas Eve dinner. And there it is.
Wow.
All set, everything set, ready to go. And we actually hired 2 ladies to help serve us, because once you sat down, there was not too much more room in there. So you see the baby Jesus, and you probably, as we get a close up, I think you'll see the birthday cake, and then I think that's the last of it. But my mom loved the Christmas dishes, and we got her flowers for the table, and that's there's some of the people that would serve us, and all the food was on the buffet there. My dad set that up. He always had this in mind when he built this room and finished the basement for this event. The pierogies, the lushki, and the names on it, keeping track of everything. And we basically handed our dish, told her what we wanted, and then one of the ladies would actually serve us and put the plate us, and then bring the plate to us. And that's the cabbage pierogies and so on and so forth. All right, well, that's enough of that. I just wanted you guys to get an idea of how we did it. My dad bought all the same style of crock pots, except for the ones that we brought dishes. We all had to bring in a dish. Everybody had to make their own dish. My dad was responsible for the pierogies. So everybody had to bring a dish in. So he would come in. My dad would always get dressed up. So would my mother. We did too. And then there's baby Jesus there. And I think we sang the birthday and light the candle here. And that's representing baby Jesus. All right. So I just wanted to kind of show you that and give you an idea of what we did there. So I'll come back on air and I'll hold this up. This is the menu that we had. And we would print this out, and it was saying in the back, it was explained a little bit about Valia for everybody, the young ones. And all the people that brought the dishes, it said what they brought and who brought it. So we all had that menu at our on our plate. And so we would be able to tell them what we wanted on our plate. So I just wanted to give you an idea of how that went down.
That was super special there.
And did you have the fire department on speed dial for having all those pots plugged into the outlet?
Oh, my dad knew electricity. He wired the house, and he made sure he put 20 amp and 12-2 wire in those areas. He knew, he planned ahead for all that kind of stuff.
Very, very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, very good. Of course, many of us have never experienced a Polish Christmas Eve dinner like that. So I thank you so much for sharing that with us. That was fantastic. That made my day, Greg. That was good. All right.
I'm hungry.
Sorry.
I'm hungry.
I know.
Earlier. Yeah. And you were snacking on something before we went on the air. I don't know what it was, but anyway. Okay, so here. Let's take a short breather right here. This is the middle of the show, and we're going to do our special product announcement. We'll be back right on the other side of this. Yep, it's that time again. Stop the show. Tuesday Night Live Showstopper Special. For this week, we'll go over here to that clown, StufferSanta.com. schoolofsantas.com. Mr. Spangle.
Hey, guys. Hey, I want to give you a little heads up, too. We are over halfway filled up for next year's registration for the School of Santas. So get in there, get a hold of Tanya, go to schoolofsantas.com, figure it out. Anyways, you want to be there. Hey, this week's special, our bells. Check them out. They're right here. 5 bells. They snap. Go over your belt. You can come in ringing them like this. Really nice bells. Normally $85. For the Tuesday night live show, we are doing them for $50, and we're going to ship them free. And the cost of postage just went up on the 2nd. So, hey, you're getting even a better deal. Anyways, $50. Message me personally. They're on our website, but if you won't go to the website, you're going to pay $85 plus shipping. Message me, you're going to get it for $50. You know you need a new set of belts for this year. All right, guys.
Can always
let the messages start coming in.
Yep, can always use an extra set. And guys, remember, this is good until October 10th. That'll be next Monday. That's less than 1 week. So get your hands on some dough and go buy you some bells.
Nice bells.
They're real cast bells. They're nice. I know all about those things. They're nice.
And, you know, I know I don't have this particular set that Spangle has. I have a set similar to them, but I know I wear mine on my boots. And when I come out of the back hallways at the mall heading down to my set, you can hear those bells ringing all across the mall. Folks know when Santa arrives each day and when he leaves. So fantastic. I love those bells. Get you some of those, like I said.
Yeah. They're loud.
Yes, they are. And they echo and they carry. Very, very good. Deep-throated sound. All right, here we go on the other side. We'll be right back.
You are watching Tuesday Night Live with Bob Spangle and Angela. The second half of tonight's show is brought to you by StuffForSanta.com and SchoolOfSantas.com, where you can find everything you need for your Santa and Mrs. Claus professional business. Remember, if Spangle ain't got it, you just don't need it because it must not exist. So contact Spangle today for all your red suit accessories and more. And be sure and tell everyone where you got all that really cool stuff. Now back to our show with Bob, Angela, and, of course, more Spangle with trivia fun.
Hey, I want to throw this out there before I do the trivia thing. Our first half of the show sponsor, Sleigh Driver Apparel. Well, he also does logos and stuff for people, too. Some of the best. He did our Stuff for Santa logo. And I guess I need to get our new one on here because he just did us a new one for the School of Santas, too. But anyways, I just want to throw that out there for Derek. Hey, anyways, this week's prize for the trivia, a set of bells. So you're going to get them. That way I'll quit ringing them in my ear. Anyways, the trivia question is, what candy was given to soldiers in the battle in the Korean War? What year and where and by who was it invented? What candy was given to the soldiers in the battle in the Korean War? What year and where and by who was it invented?
That's a 4-part question, guys. You got to have all 4 parts correct to win those bells.
Yeah, but it's a good prize, so you got to get those 4 questions.
Well, that's why we made the question tough because, you know, that's a great prize and got to work for that one. But the answers are out there. Go find them, put them in the comment box, and we will come back to that later on in the show, as we always do. Good luck, guys. All right, now then, let's get back to the show, man. We got so much to go through here, and excited to get moving on to the second half of tonight's program. Let's jump right back in what we are all here to see, and that is Greg's segment on his North Pole. Now, you guys might want to take a pen and paper. I know you're going to want to write some of this stuff down, especially some of the tools that he uses as far as Stream Deck and that sort of thing. So, Greg, you got the floor, brother. Run with it.
Oh, no problem. But one more thing, I want to make Mr. Spangle even more hungry. So let me just real quickly hit this menu here, and let me get rid of my picture. There's the cakes I make. Now, each one of those flowers, you think they're flowers, they're actually thinly cut pineapple that were dried out and put on top of it. That's a pina colada cake. So I just wanted to show you that.
Wow.
So there you go.
You like pina coladas and dancing in the rain. Oh,
there you go.
You know, I kind of left something out there that I wanted to throw out at everyone. Greg has a bunch of new high-tech stuff to watch here. Too cool for school, stuff to share with us. So make sure, like I said, you pay attention here and take some notes, guys. All right, Greg.
All right. Well, you're looking at one of my new sets. It's the command center, and this is my chair. And I put my chair on wheels and allow it to be moved around. I come in this room, and on a tour, I figured I don't want to show you all those old pieces. I'll show you the new stuff. So this is the command center. So I would come in here and I'll sit down and I'll talk to them. And if you look at some of the little things in there, first, you see that one monitor. If you guys remember Christmas Chronicle 1, you remember that where Katie went into Santa's bag, and next thing she was into this magical conveyor belt, and that went right to the halls of letters? Anyway, that's a little bit of that conveyor belt. So it kind of goes along with what the elves do to make all this magic work. And then I also have a wormhole that I show on one of those monitors. So they're managing that for me too. So that's the kind of stuff that I do there. And then when I'm walking around, because I walk around with my coat on and it's hanging up here, right here, I'll put it on real quickly. Because I'm gonna go outside, and the children relate to you doing, saying things and actually doing them, and I constantly respect their intelligence. They are so smart. They look for little things, and it's very important for me to make this look very special for them. So I'll move the chair out of the room, and then I can now move into other parts of my scenes. So I'll go back a little bit, so in case you didn't maybe see it, but one thing what Angela and Bob does, they make sure all this goes on YouTube. So that's also very important. So basically, I'm going to leave this room, and then I'm gonna go off air, and then I'm gonna leave out of here. And when I come back in to this room, I will come in with my staff, and then I'll have my camera on, and then I will be able to see the children and come back in. Hello, and this is the halls of letters. This is where all your letters go. Yeah, this is a very, very special place. So these are the kind of things I do with the children, so they kind of relate to this, and I can go through this and show them. I'm always looking at a teleprompter here, and I already noticed that this is how I constantly talk to them and keep in front of me. In this case, the name is Henley, and I can talk to them, and I can say, do you Miss Thomas is your teacher. When you see her and you go back to school after Christmas break, make sure you say hi to her for me. So that's the kind of stuff I do. And I have Rudolph's nose here. And then I'll also talk about the size of this room, and I can move off to here and give them a bigger view of this room, and just be able to go from every side, show them how big it is. And then I come back into this room again. And then when I come back in again, I then go and say, this is where all the letters go. So you relate to the background instead of just standing in front of it. It gives you a lot more depth. They see it, they believe in it. I also have those two panels with my SC They come alive with video. Again, I picked that up from the Christmas Chronicle movie. And the fireplace, the elves come down and light it. And when I leave here, they also come down here and put it out with a couple buckets of water. So that's the kind of stuff I do with that kind of stuff. So now I'm going to put this away, and I'm going to sit down back in my chair here and just kind of go over some of the new things and give you a behind the scene thing of all my stuff. So here we are. Let's go behind the scenes. So camera 3 is set up where you can see how this all comes together. So I got 2 monitors, the teleprompter. I use an ATEM. That's one of the, that's called an ATEM Extreme ISO. That's a $1,200 piece of equipment, but you can start off with a $295 piece. It will manage 4 cameras for you that you can switch back and forth with a push of a button, just like I'm doing here. And you can move from camera to camera to camera. And that's simple, and it's just very easy to do. And it comes with the best green screen or any color screen keyer. That keyer was put in their 40,000, 50,000 pieces of equipment they sell. It's made by Black Magic. They brought that keyer to their $295 model. So that keeps your green ghosting and different little things, the noise from your white hair or your coats like this coat, all that you can key out better than anything in online broadcast software or known for OBS. Also, I got a microphone in front of me, which I use only if I'm working with somebody face-to-face, not for the children. I'm wearing a lavalier mic, and I have 2, one for my ear and one for the actual microphone. It's actually, let me go back to this shot. It's actually on my body here. It's right underneath my beard. When I talk normal, and put my head at the right level, just like this, you don't even see it. But it's a white lavalier mic sitting back there. And why is that? Because when I'm walking around and I got my back to the children, I want them still to be able to hear me. So I invested in that, and that made it very easy for me to be able to talk to them. So let's go back to this here. I also got a printer for my NICE certificates. I also have a scale for mailing. I also have a label printer for the actual labels that go on the envelopes. That printer prints the actual certificates and the envelope that they go in, and that envelope goes into a UPS. I use either the post office or I send it through United Parcel Service if I'm worried about it getting there before the actual show. And then, so that's what I do with that. As the people reach out to me and book a show, I'll get off my chair so I can grab this a little bit easier. I put them in this type of folder. Let me go back with the front camera. And they go in here, and they go in the dates that they booked me. I got a couple bookings already, so I actually got some in here already. And you can see I got their certificates, and I got their envelopes ready to go in here. And as they come in, I just slide those in there, and then it makes it easier for the day of the actual show, because that's what I do. It just keeps it in check for me. So let me put them down, go back to camera 3, and see if anything else I left out. Oh, the most important is the hardware here. This is the Studio Mac and a Mac Mini. If you're going to invest in a new computer, the best bargain on the market today is the Mac Mini M1. And I wouldn't even buy it now, because in the next couple of weeks, they're going to announce a new model. And that will either make the first generation a little cheaper, you buy it used, or you can still buy from Apple. And the next one, you can see if you want to spend extra money for maybe a little bit more powerful machine like the M2 chip. But that chip is very special. There's nothing made by Intel that can compete with it at this time. And even I'm working with Zoom, and Zoom came up with a new piece called ISO. and they're testing it out. It's still in beta, and they only are going to put that on people that have Macs, because the silicon has the power to drive what they're trying to do with that, which is having multiple people on the same meeting and still have high quality. So that is the best bargain out there. To $695, and that's just what I went with. I have a backup right underneath it, and that's important to me, to always back up my equipment. All right, now I don't do everything in camera one. I do slide in. Let me go back to the office real quickly, and I do slide from here to camera two, and I have a stage background. So for you people starting out and you're saying, well, that green screen just seems, and that equipment seems out of my budget, I understand completely. You're looking at a 4x5 room. That's all it is here. It's a backdrop. It's an old shelf I had, and I just cleared off all my supplies, and I put a little bit of stuff here representing Santa. I got my feather here. I got my nice list, which I converted into an iPad, so I can do it right on camera and find their name and search. Children are, again, smart. There's no book that's going to hold 2 or 3 billion children's names, but an iPad could. So they relate to that kind of stuff. And there's my globe. And this is not green screen or chroma key. This is in a stage background. So I got my feather. I got my little friendly mouse here sitting here. Don't know why I still have them. And of course, we know how important bells are. They're right here for it to add something to the story. And it's all right in front of me. And this is where I present to the children their certificate in an envelope, and then I put it through a wormhole, and it goes right to the home. And you only can do the wormhole in a green screen environment. So when I can go over here and slide that back over to here, and when I go back over to this scene, then I can do the actual wormhole. I'm going to take off my coat. I usually take off the coat and just work with a sweater and a pair of red pants and a white shirt. The white shirt hides the lavalier mic. I hang up the coat. Sorry for being off camera here for a second. And then I come back in, and then I'm back in here. So then I do something with the wormhole. And that's just something. The other thing you want to do when you're working with OBS is make your fire come to life by adding a video in there. Make your snow coming through your windows in the back to add it, make it look real. Make your little lamps with a flame flickering to add that, to make that look very real. Interact with your background. Get up and stand and walk back there. Now, how I do that is, let me switch to another camera, and I'll just show you. Wrong one. That's the back behind me. The green screen is turned on. I'm actually sending a scene through it. That's why you see that. But you see how my green screen is on that track, and there's grommets every 6 inches. Well, I took a normal 20-foot by 10-foot green screen, and I actually cut 3 feet off the bottom, and I put grommets every 6 inches. And I don't know if you've ever been in the hospital, which I hope you weren't, or you're visiting somebody that is, and you look at the curtain set up around each bed, that privacy curtain. That's where I got the idea for that railing. So you can type in privacy curtain railing, and you'll find that. And then you tell them the size of your room. Mine is 13 by 14. They'll cut those that length, send it to you, and you can have it installed. And then you can just pull it back when you don't want to use it. I like that better than anything on the floor that I could trip over. It makes it a little bit better for me to do that. And it's also extremely important to light that properly. So that's basically that green screen here. So let me, any questions? Let's try to catch up with some questions if somebody was typing in anything.
She's looking.
Oh, yeah, that is a custom staff. There's a gentleman named Igor Carver. He has a real long name. He's from Ukraine. I got to know him just by searching on the web. He does a lot of great skulls and animals, but he never did anything Santa-like. So when I reached out to him via email and started talking to him via email, I gave him my idea and I gave him a drawing I sent to him. He then took my project and made that with, I wanted the elves, I wanted Santa. I had a bronze Santa, a reindeer. I wanted that mounted on the top. Let me just, instead of trying to just talk about it, I'll hold it in front of the camera. So there's the reindeer, the elves, my name here. This is where the battery sits. This is the switch. This is bronze. And then, I always tell the children, well, this is the main elf. Oh, yes. He takes care of the list. That's Mattel. Yeah, that's his name. Now, these guys are brothers, Fisher and Price. Now, if you ever go and look in the toy stores, they love putting their names on the toys. So, make a backstory to it. But it's a very important piece. I use it to lean on, to go from scene to scene. It also comes apart and becomes a cane, or leaves it as a full staff. So that's that. So I hope that answered that question. Yeah, I did show it in that meeting. Yeah, he does great work. It's not cheap, but and he won't do that design. Artists are funny that way. And when I realized a lot of people wanted something like that, I reached out to him again and I said, we came up with 2 designs. Why don't you run with the second design and sell it to all the other Santas that are interested? So that's what he does. And he actually made the lanterns light up now. So not only the reindeer in his nose, but the actual lanterns light up. So he's improved upon that. His mother did all the painting in it. And it's just very nice to see that he's still safe. He's close to the Polish border, so he's safe. Yeah, Ray, you're right. Artists are very particular about that kind of stuff. And they just feel they made it for you. You own that. All right, so that's a little bit about my scenes. So now I'm going to move to some of the, let me go back here 1 second here. I'm gonna go back and first I'm gonna give you with the children, not just me using something that you get from Spangle all day long, which is a D-light that I can reach back here and actually put it, and then the wormhole will appear. But what I can do is show you with children. So let me get my off air and put this on. And let me just make sure that you guys can see this. Hold on 1 second. Bear with me 1 second here. Let me switch scenes here.
And we'll drop it. There it is. Now, next thing. Now, wormholes only appear for a short period of time. And I have your envelope right here.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm going to put it.
Now, the mother has no idea about this, just the father.
It's coming. Here it comes. Oh, there.
And of course, the children.
There. Wow. Oh, now, I told Elmo's my head elf who kind of controls the wormhole behind the scenes. I told him to see if it can land in Mummy's stocking. Can you check Mummy's stocking?
Look at her face.
What?
Oh, it landed. Oh, good job, Elmo. Good job.
I love that face at the end.
That's worth $1 million.
Yep. So let me go back on camera. And that's just a basic black scene in the back. And again, I just wanted to also give you an idea of some of the other stuff I'm working on. I just opened up a whole new business. It'll be actually official in a week. But if you go on the web and Google it, it's virtualsantaproductions.com, virtualsantaproductions.com. And I'm going to show you the promo for that. And I'm going after corporate work. I still have SantaKringleLLC.com for all my personal visits, but this is the corporate work. So let me just kind of pop into that so you guys can see that. Let me turn my camera off.
Visions of sugar plums are not the only dreams dancing in their heads, but a magical North Pole tour sure to delight people of all ages. Santa is your personal tour guide as he takes you to a mystical tour of the North Pole. The Hall of Letters, meeting the reindeer, and of course, the elves.
Henry, how you doing? Johnny, is that you?
Hello.
Virtual Santa Productions' packaged virtual event is perfect for your employees and their families. An extraordinary and unique holiday party for your company or even your clients. A truly memorable and interactive experience that features a special time with Miss Elfie and decorating cookies. For your next company holiday party, consider a gift of an extraordinary experience for your employees and families. Featuring great storytelling and a journey that is engaging, entertaining, but most importantly, magical.
Dasher, we got company.
Now, I have a gentleman named Jeff Campagna. Jeff is fantastic, and he's my partner in all this. So he made that logo, and he also made the label for the cookie package for the children. So it's a Christmas cookie. So it's very nice. I did talk about this on the North Pole Radio. So that's kind of what I did with that. And so it's something I'm putting together, and I'm trying to go after the corporate work. So let me put my camera back on. Any other? Yeah, virtualsantaproductions.com. Thank you very much for that. All right. The other thing I wanted to show you is some of the stuff that Jeff is working on. Again, he is a super creative gentleman, and he's working on a couple of things. So here's some of his things. So let me turn my camera off again.
Hello there. Welcome to the North Pole. There's something so magical about a snowfall in the evening, isn't there? I just love standing outside, just marveling at the beauty and the calmness of it all.
Notice how he has an echo in his voice.
Well, let me get my coat off and make way to my desk.
So he also goes out of there and he goes into his office area, puts his coat up, and then he comes to the front. So I just want to give you an idea of how his mind works. And that is a beautiful scene, and it just really comes alive. And then he comes close for the children. And if you notice, the thing off to the right-hand side is a big screen that he can actually work and do things within that screen. It's very unique. And like, here's an example of that. That's what he can do with that. And then he can get the elf actually working in there and actually make sure that's you can actually hear him. I'm sorry, I turned for some reason, I don't know why I did not have, that volume should be up. I don't know if you guys can hear it or not. I don't hear it on my side. But anyway, that's what he's kind of working on, those kind of things. So, and I just want to give you just how his mind works and what you can do with virtual stuff and where you can take it to the next level here. So I just wanted to give you an idea how that works. Any other questions? I'm
She's.
always, go ahead.
I was just gonna say she's searching to see if there's anything else there for you.
No problem. I'm always open for phone calls. Anybody that is interested and maybe thinks it's a little bit overwhelming. And this is not official yet, but what I'm hoping to do is franchise the North Pole Tour. And so I would maybe work out something to put a kit of all the equipment that is needed and all the scenes that you would use to make that work. Now, what I use is these, I'll move out of the way here with my big head, but this is the key to this. It's called an Elgato Stream Deck. By pushing buttons, I can move from camera 3 and back to camera 2, back to camera 1, camera 4, camera 5, camera 1, and then just pop around. Have my Apple TV up and running if I want to watch something on TV or show something that way, or back to camera 5. Now this is my nice certificate. So what I usually do here is I take it down and I have it wired up. My leather artist is making a case for it. And then I sit down in my chair and then I will actually put the name in here. So I can say, oh, let's check and see if you're on the nice list. So let's check and do a search. And then let's look and see if you're on the nice list.
Now we're going to be able to tell if that thing is accurate or not.
And there you are. Let's check. Oh, she is on the nice list.
You got it wired wrong, Santa.
I know. Anyway, hope you forgive me, Angela.
Oh.
All right, so I'm back to camera 1, but it's just somehow, now with that, no matter what name you put in, it's always there, and it's always on the nice list. Now there are some people we should maybe say maybe, but Spangle, but most of us are always on the nice list.
Uh-oh. I'm in trouble.
Yes, you are.
So, yeah, so what we're trying to do is maybe come up with a complete setup and be able to manage it remotely for you. And every year you'll get the latest scenes that we're building, so it stays fresh and exciting for the children. So that is what we're trying to accomplish. Again, it's hoping that you guys can take on some of the corporate work, give them a tour based on what tour that you want to give, the tour that I would go through, or what Jeff is working on, or what we might be working on in the future. So we keep it fresh for the corporate work. But we're hoping that all the corporate people that see this and do the cookie kit, but they want a personal visit, that database of all those children, and that when they reach out, it won't be reach out to Santa Kringle if I didn't do the show, or Santa Jeff if Jeff didn't do the show. It would reach out to you, and then you would get those customers. And so that's how we're trying to put that together for probably 2024. We want to take it slow and make sure we just get it just right and be able to manage it. But I start right after Christmas. I just go back into building things for next year, and I map out every month. So anyway, it's something that you'll have 300 some days of help, and you don't have to be worried about just trying to put those all together for December or November. It'll be there ready to go for you, and it'll help keep that Christmas spirit nice and in the green.
Hey, Greg, Eric and Moesha want to know, what program are you using for your naughty nice list?
That is actually a website. I had a website, and it's hosted on Virtual Santa Productions behind the scenes, so the customer can never get to it. But all you would have to do is be able to get to your web, have a network, either a wireless network. Now, when you're virtual, that's not a problem. if that was somehow try to use that on site through your little iPad, you got to make sure you have the network available or your cellular data has strong enough signal. So it could be problematic in that environment.
And I must tell everyone, this is definitely a learning curve. Greg, you started in 2019 developing all of this?
Yeah, right.
2019. It's taken him a couple of years to get to where he's at, but he's put in all the time, the hard work, and he's willing to give guys, you guys tips, help you out, share knowledge with you. So you're not going to find someone who knows more about it than he does in the Santa community.
Well, Bob, you're saying this is a learning curve. I'll tell you what, this Spangle guy here, it ain't a curve. It's a donut.
I understand.
Yeah.
I mentioned yesterday, me and Randy was talking on the Monday show that, Ron McLam and a few of us had got together and started working with OBS back in 2019. And I know how frustrating it was for me in the beginning. And, for some guys, I guess it's harder than others. But Greg has really just been like a duck in water. He has just taken off with this stuff and has, grabbed a hold of it and ran with it. And man, dude, you make my head.
Sorry, Bob. Go ahead. No, it's an investment as well. That's for sure. And then the most of the investment is in time. And of course, there is equipment. And when we put this kit together, we're going to try to scale it down to make it work right out of the box, come preloaded with everything. So it'll be a little bit less of a learning curve. But you want to be able to move around and not just sit in front of it. But don't ever lose sight. My shows are 28 to 30 minutes long. And I do talk about the children and talk all through the tour. And before I even go on a tour, I ask them, do you want to go on the tour? And when they say yes, I don't want to give them something they probably want to see, like the stables and the reindeer. I give them something they might not think about saying, like the Halls of Letters first, to see if they're really committed. And okay, and then I leave and we'll take them on that tour. But when I come back, you need a private conversation with them. So I have another iPad over there with all their information, what they want for Christmas. Over here was the one I just left. And you look into the camera and you talk to them and you spend some time with them. And you tell a story. I took Stephen Gillam's course. I do the Magic Feather story. That's right back here in the red box behind me. Very important 2 or 3 minute story. I usually end with that. And then when I send the certificate, let me go back over to here. When I send the certificate, I send the feather and I send a little card for the cookie dish. So that also teaches them that Santa needs to say thank you. And the white feather underneath the trees is laying there or somewhere. Of course, they're going to be so interested in seeing all the gifts. But when they finally see that feather, they can relate to the story. And then maybe they'll put it in a plastic ornament that they can get from the dollar store for $1 and hang it on their tree. And every year that becomes a moment, something they can look back and say, oh, remember that white feather? And so they can maybe think about us. Now, on the back of it, it would say Spangle. No. He's Mr. Advertiser. But anyway, you get the idea. It's a nice leave behind.
Yes, it is. Now, Greg, there's a lot of new guys on here tonight that didn't see our show last year. I know you showed your room a while ago. You still had the green screen turned on. Is there any way you could turn it off and kind of stand up and show folks how small that room is that you're working in? I know you said it's 13 by 14.
Yeah, right. So let me see.
Really tells the story.
Yeah, right. Let me see if I can make that for you. Let me go to camera 4 and use the green screen's on, but I would just touch it. This is the whole green screen that you're seeing. So that's just wrapped around. I got a light over here. You see, I don't even have socks on because nobody sees my feet. I came off of this stool right here, so that doesn't even show up. So the room is only from wall to wall 13 feet. From back of the screen to the front 12 feet. That's it. I only have this camera mainly for when I did the cookie shoot. I wanted it to see them decorating the cookies when I brought the elf in, Miss Elfie. But this I also left up so you can see behind the scenes. But this is never shown in the when I'm doing the scenes. You don't see that camera. I have 7 lights, 3 in front, actually 8 lights, 4 back here and 1 up here. Now we're trying to reduce that to maybe only 3 or 4 lights and reduce that cost. We're constantly improving this and trying to make it more financially available for people who want to take it to the next level and want to do this. And we're trying to also tell people that it's a tour of the North Pole. They can take it in any month of the year. And that's probably best because Santa's not that busy in July or in June or in September. So if your child has a birthday, get them a gift, a tour of the North Pole. And that video goes directly to them. And we're using Vimeo for that so they can watch it on their big screen TVs, and it's passworded. So that's our delivery mechanism that we're working on to deliver it. So that's kind of how that looks.
Very good. So anyone else have any other questions for Greg at this time? Now would be a good time to start typing those in.
Now, Greg, am I jumping the gun here, or do you know what it's going to cost the Santa to get a kit like that?
No, I don't have any idea. Jeff has some equipment, so we're going to kind of use each other as guinea pigs and say, okay, what do we need? What's the basic amount? What would it cost? How do we wrap that up in a price? You know, some documents to let them know that it's tied to their being part of the North Pole Tour Company, the Virtual Santa Productions. And we're going to constantly support you. And then we're also going to give you new scenes as they come up. The scenes, guys, I made some of these things, but let me tell you, some of them even challenging for me. So I'll give you an example of that. So back to your question, I don't have a price yet, but we'll come up with something. So let me just go back to the reindeers.
While you're doing that, Greg, Scott Parker wants to know, do you use any type of spray to whiten your beard up for camera?
Yes, I do. I was just talking about it.
Will you be coming out with a book like this for us?
No, that's programming or a virtual Santa Claus visit for Spangles. I mean, not dummies, sorry. This is the can of the whitening stuff, and it's just finally got back in stock, but they raised the price from $7.55 to $9. I bought 9 of them because I didn't want to pay shipping, so I bought 9 at $7.55, and I'm only used 1 so far. I put this on all the time when I'm in front of the camera because I want to represent Santa to everybody. I use a Mac Mini OBS Stream Deck. What was the rest of it? Stream Deck, large green screen, iPhone S. Camera, ring light, and Mini A10 yet. Oh, that's my partner, Jeff Campagna. I'm sorry. I was saying that guy's ready to go. And I looked at the name, Jeff. So yes, that's what he uses. And I'll tell you right now, this camera right over here, let me go back over to here. Camera 4, let me see if it is the right one. Yep, camera 4 is an iPhone. That's an iPhone camera. So, but we want to make sure that we can ship inside the kit something that we completely know the settings so we know how to walk you through setting each one of them up. Or more importantly, have them preset before you even get it. So that's the idea of making it simple. That's why it's going to need a little bit of work to put it together and then wrap a price around it. And let's be honest, I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I don't do that much corporate work now, but I do it only as the Santa portrayer guy. That's it. I don't do it as the baker. I don't do it as the reindeer farm. And as I worked with those, I realized the baker could use better camera, better microphones, have an overhead shot, to make it look really special. Oh, I can improve upon that. And she didn't, the transitions from one to the other, I can improve upon that. And then the reindeer was way up in Alaska, but nobody thought about what would happen if the internet is shaky, which it was. So that was something that could be improved upon. So we're even developing even better reindeer so we can control that. So
I'm a little worried. I'm a little worried about you because it looks like your box is on fire over there on the right-hand side.
I put it back to the thing here. You're right. Yeah. Send me all right. What was I going to talk about? I wanted to show you something, and I lost track on something here. But let me see if I can. It'll come back to me. But maybe any more questions while we're waiting for that?
Your type of cameras or anything, you mentioned an iPhone. A lot of vloggers are using their iPhones, or even the little GoPros, and not sinking a lot of money, although none of them are cheap. I mean, they all cost, but not sinking as much into them. But I don't know if that was where you were headed.
Well, Stuart Deacon Jr. uses a more of a professional camera. I buy them all used. I'm always looking for Sony A6000, A6000, or A6300. Every year I look, they keep getting cheaper. They come with a 50 millimeter lens. The best price I got on them was around $325. And then I buy an adapter to keep it powered up all the time. They've been plugged in and up and running for 4 months straight. Never have an issue. They are a better quality camera than almost anything else you can do, even though the iPhones are getting better and better. But the best iPhones are still very pricey. So, you're looking at an iPhone 10 right here. That's an iPhone 10 right here.
I think the next are $1,500 and upwards, aren't they?
Yeah, so it's expensive for something like that. And the problem with an iPhone, you got to wipe everything off of it so it doesn't alert you right in the middle of your show. And then here you are talking, and then something comes up, time to update, or you got a message or something. All that is less controlled than using something that Stuart Deacon turned us all onto in his classes. So I kind of went that direction, but I didn't do that in 2019, in 2020. I didn't do that until 2022. So it's a journey. You got to take one step at a time.
Did you start off with a Logitech? Is that what you started off with?
Well, yeah, I went to the Stream Deck pretty quickly. Oh, the Brio. Yes, I went to the Brio. Logitech Brio, it was the best on the market for the longest time. It's getting some good competition now. But the problem with that, I wanted to use my ATEM. A Brio only has a USB connector on the back. The ATEM needs directly go into HDMI. And I want to have complete control of the cameras to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and back to 3, back to 2, back to 1. No issues. The ATEM does that. And the cheapest ATEM is $295. And that's what we're probably going to include in our kit. We're even looking at a model that maybe a producer will be behind the scenes and they'll do all the work for you and you just perform as Santa. That's another idea. That's why I joined the Office Hours Global community. They're on 23 hours a day. They're on right now. They're on 365 days a year. They don't shut down for any holiday. And they talk audio and video and all types of other things. So I got a whole group of people that could become, well, they are already producers and directors. They produce shows internationally. That's what I was going to talk to you about, my international artists. But anyway, so I do have a bunch of people that are extremely talented that could be talking into my ear and saying, okay, Greg, time to move on from that scene. Oh, you're going into, we're going to switch you to halls of letters. Step back, we're going to show all the views of the size of the broom. Step back, and we're going to move over, put out the fire, we'll put it out for you. And now we're going to have you move over to the reindeers. And all that's being said to you in your ear and the customer never hears it. That's an idea. So I bought a $1,200 piece of equipment to expand upon that on my side. It'll be a lot cheaper part on the other side. Anyway, okay, let me show you this. Let me go back to, and we can maybe finish with this, and let me go back to a little story behind this, and let me get my camera off air for a second here. This is my reindeer stables. Rudolph is in the middle. The other ones, and I got to make them do some type of activity, make noises. I usually stood in front of the camera, standing up, and I would say to Dasher, Dasher, we got company. You've seen it in my promo. And the kids would get a laugh out of the children. And I say, why don't you just say hi to them, Dasher? You say it in reindeer language. Go ahead. There you go. That's hello in reindeer language. You know, something like that. But I came up working with a Russian artist. Now, this is just before the war started. And then we started putting a project together, and the war came about, and they were cutting off his Facebook. So I couldn't communicate to him. So I liked what he was doing. We did a storyboard I sent them on what I want, but I had to break off the project because what I was feeling in my heart, knowing that my cane staff maker lives in Ukraine, even though I know this guy had nothing to do with the war. He's a young kid who just loves working on 3D animation. So we broke it off, but before we broke it off, he says, I'm gonna complete your project. And what you were gonna pay me, send it to the guy in Ukraine. Now, that's the kind of people that are around the world. Blows me away. But I'm gonna show you what we worked on. So let me get my coat on to make it look a little bit better than me just standing back there with my vest. Oh, by the way, what you spend in outfits, you might spend in equipment. I know some people know the quality of a good outfit, and they'll spend thousands of dollars on that. That could be equipment, because you might need the robe. I have regular red pants, and I got this nice vest. They're always around. This had a lot of green in it. I know you guys can't see me. So this had a lot of green in it, but it still shows up in a green screen environment. All right. So let me just get out of here and kind of give you an idea of how this might look. This is what my artist in Russia put together for me. Oh, who's that? Oh, Zoe. Oh, Zoe wants to, he's been practicing very hard. He wants, come on, Zoe, come on up here. Come on up here. Hey, come on, Zoe. Oh, fantastic. Oh, a little moonwalking. Look at you go. That's fantastic. Wow, you're doing so good. That's oh, I'm sorry. I can't. Not this year. Maybe next year. Oh, Zoe, please. Zoe. Oh, he's dying to pull the sleigh. But you know, children, you got to learn patience. He's not ready yet, but he will sometime in the future. Oh, so I'm happy you got to see Zoe. So that's something I thought was pretty special that he came up and made for me. And again, the money for that project went to the gentleman in Ukraine. So again, coat off. What do you think? Love, love, love Zoe. All right, I'm gonna hang it back up over here. Again, I can't tell you enough about a good partner like Jeff, who has really sparked our imagination. We're a great team. He always says we're two old guys working. What can two old guys do with a computer? And we come up with these things. It can be done. And if you can't do it, there are people that can help you. It can be done. You just got to have faith in the process.
Yeah, Zoe is one of my favorite scenes that you do there, Greg.
Yeah, just again, everything everything is designed for a little bit of teaching. I don't want to ever be the parent. Let the parent be the parent. But that fire needs to be put out. Don't leave a room with a fire. Now, when you have a fire like that, you got to make sure you put it out because we don't want anything to happen. So I'll get 2 elves come down here, Gizzy and Mizzy, and they got little buckets of water, and they will come down there and they'll put that fire out for me. There they are. Oh, good job. And teaches them little things, or the thank you card. Teaches them that Santa needs to say thank you like your parents have been teaching you. And Zoe will get to pull the sleigh sometime. And one thing about 3D animation, Zoe can grow every couple years and get bigger and bigger and bigger very easily without have to start from scratch. That's one thing about 3D animation.
Very cool.
All right. I took up enough of your time. Thank you for having me as a guest. And again, reach out to me. I have no problem. 724-552-7334. Or private message me in Zoom, and I'll be getting back to you.
Fantastic. I tell you what, that's so much fun. I feel like a kid again, Greg. I mean, goodness. You make us all kind of feel stupid in a way because, I mean, you've really taken it not just to the next level, but 10 levels above, so fantastic job. All right, man, well, stick around with us. Let's go ahead and move along here in just a moment. There may be a few more questions. We'll come back to those if there is. First thing we want to do right here is reveal tonight's trivia answers while we got a chance to get them in. So according to Google, in 2021, the number 1 most popular Halloween costume was a witch. And we asked for number 2, 3, 4, and 5 on that top 5 list. Like I said, these may kind of surprise you because for me, I was thinking, I guess, in a total different round. But number 2 was rabbit. Number 3, dinosaur. Number 4 was Spider-Man. And number 5 was Cruella de Vil. So did we get anybody that had all 4 of those correct, Angela?
Yes. Let me go back to
Just a moment. She's going to dig that out.
that was okay. Jeff Olette.
Jeff Olette is our winner for the Sleigh Driver Apparel trivia question.
Nice bells.
Fantastic job. All right, so now to the StuffForSanta.com, SchoolOfSantas.com. What candy was given to soldiers in the Korean War? Tootsie Roll.
Oh, I thought it was going to be M&M's.
Tootsie Roll. What year? The year was 1896. Where was in Brooklyn? And the inventor was Leo Hirschfeld. And our winner there is?
Rex Ray.
Mr. Rex Ray. How about that? Fantastic job, guys. Now, those were kind of tough questions tonight because they were multiple answers to them. Man, that Tootsie Roll is good.
Man, Greg, we have a question for you now. Everybody's been dying to hear this question. What is your favorite cookie?
Well, you don't ever want to just pick one single cookie out because that might not be what they have in their house. So you got to take something very broad to the child because there's all different things they maybe spent a lot of time. So I just say a round cookie. That's all I say.
Yeah.
That's always my go-to answer.
Yeah, you just got to think about it. They can pick it up at the store real quick and different things. Now, I do a lot of international market with the Halls of Letter and the Wormhole. So I'm thinking about just putting a big candy cane that you buy anywhere in the Wormhole because, I can't send that and get there in time and people in Ireland, Germany, Australia. And I got to also change my time zone because when I was on the after hours group, which is part of the office hours, they're booking me now on that group because they like what they see and they are booking me, but they're all over the world, these gentlemen and ladies. So it's interesting.
You'll be doing 24/7 at Christmas time.
Well, I'll be, again, I just went to starting at 10 and going way over up to 11, because I'm getting a lot of people from the West Coast too.
All right, so that
made with love.
Dramatic answer that you gave on the cookie, but what is Greg's favorite cookie?
Well, my favorite cookie is a thumbprint cookie. It's basically dough with covered in powdered sugar. You press your thumb in there, and I only like the chocolate fudge inside it. It's something my mother made. My daughter learned how to make all these pierogies, nut roll, thumbprint cookies. So we keep them going. And I didn't want to say, you asked about music. I listen to Polish music. I got it on a digital player on my phone, and it's Kalendes. I listen to them with my earpods because nobody knows the words. I can't sing them. I just they bring me back, sitting in front of the tree in my mom's house and dad's house, listen to them, those Polish carols. Kalendes they're called.
Yeah, you had mentioned that's kind of your comfort zone that you can go to. Like I said, put your AirPods in and enjoy. Takes you back to your childhood, and that's always a good thing for sure.
I'm wearing a Bumblebee headset here. You can't even see it. And again, the mic is covered up. So, and again, audio is extremely important. And here's another thing too. Let me just go back to a black screen, something that you guys can maybe work on. When you're in front of, let me just change this right here real quickly. I want to go out with a black screen, so bear with me 1 second. It's called the Fenwick Framer. A guy named Chris Fenwick came up with it. And just think about this, guys, when you're doing your backgrounds. And I'm just going to do a basic background here. I want something a little bit different. I don't know why I don't see the actual scene for this, but let me, I don't know why, but okay. I don't want to hold you guys up. But anyway, let me just go real quickly back to the, it's on my, I made this page just for Sap Bob. So let me just see if I can get to it. But anyway, oh, come on, where is it? You guys check the questions while I struggle with my own technology.
While he's looking for that, Rex Ray said to bless somebody else. The next person that was in line will get the bells.
That's correct, and that would be our Northwest Arkansas Santa Marcos.
Okay. So basically what I do, this was developed for broadcast TV, and we just took it, and before I usually go on a show, I lowered that when I was moving around so much. But notice my head is inside that oval. My eyes are at the first line here. My chin is right down here at the low line. Eye line, chin line, oval. So if you just put this on before you start, even if you're not using chroma key, you just want to get yourself all lined up and make sure everything looks good. There you are. And you can put that on, turn it off, go back to your scene. So you can easily go turn that off and pop over to your scene. And then you can be ready to go. And that's what they use for a broadcast TV.
Great tip.
I can put that in the chat or somewhere, that program, and you guys can load it and use it. Now, again, it loads in OBS. I don't know if you'll be able to use it, but I can probably private message me. I can see if you can use it. But that's, to me, something very nice to be able to compose yourself a little bit better.
Fantastic. So, all right, guys, Greg gave out his phone number. He says contact him in a private message. Holler at him if you have any other questions, need help with anything. I can't tell you how much we appreciate you, Greg, for bringing all this to us tonight. I mean, like I said earlier, it just kind of blows me away at what you've done and how much you've advanced in a little over 2 years. And man, I can't imagine what trip you're going to take us on next year and the year after that. So looking forward to that.
And thank you
Greg
for
is the man right there. That's the man on this stuff right there.
And thank you for let me share my family traditions with you, because they're very nice to have some kind of traditional thing like we did with the Christmas Eve dinner. The Italians call it the meal of 7 fishes. So I think it's 7 fishes. But anyway, thank you for that.
I enjoyed that as much as the rest of it. It was all great presentation from start to finish. All right, Spangle.
All right. Well, Greg, we really do thank you for joining us tonight. And guys, next week, join us next week for the Tuesday Night Live Roundtable Special. We're going to have some great guests there, and we're going to discuss some different things. And it's a round table, guys. Get your questions ready. You're going to have the people here to answer them. Think of them, write them down, bring them to the show.
Got a great panel lined up. It's going to be fun. All right. So again, Greg, thank you so much, my friend, for joining us and giving us a lot to think about. I mean, I think most folks who were tuning in tonight, some of them have seen some of the stuff. Some listened to the podcast that you had that you done recently with Matt, and of course we had Stuart Deacon on earlier in the year, and he's another one who teaches so much good stuff and is influential in the on-screen thing. So thank you. Want to give a big thank you to Derek Dugan and Sleigh Driver Apparel, also StuffForSanta.com and SchoolOfSantas.com. Remember, our recorded videos can be seen on our Facebook group and our YouTube channel at the Tuesday Night Live Show. Also, don't forget that the Bob, Randall, and Company live preview show now has its own YouTube channel. Also, everything that we do goes over there. This segment will go up as soon as we get off the air. Angela Mack starts uploading that. It'll be ready for your viewing for a review or over on the group, either way. All right. Tell everyone good night, Spangle.
Good night, Spangle.
Fantastic. All right. Remember to join us for our next Tuesday Night Live each week, 7 p.m. Central. Same Claus time, same Claus channel. Count your blessings, not your sorrows. Have a blessed week. Until next time, on behalf of Greg Swiech, Spangle, Angela, and myself, I'm Santa Bob McMaster saying good night. Remember, always let your Santa and Mrs. Claus hearts shine bright. Thank you, Greg. God bless everyone. See you next week.
Take care.